This week on the Bedroom Talk Show, we are discussing how to get your business featured in a magazine, featuring a celebrity publicist, with your host, Crystal J. And this week's special guest is Taiisha Bradley. Make sure you stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's your girl Crystal J, and today I'm here with a great topic, a great guest. I need you guys to share, and let's get to it. Today I have celebrity publicist. I have Mrs. Bradley. How you doing today, girl?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. I am so happy to have you because I want to learn how to get my business featured in the magazine. And I have more questions for you that's not dealing with magazines, but I know that it's up your alley.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about everything, everything.
I know you are. So before we get to her, you guys, I want you to get to know her. So we'll be right back. So my guest today, she has been featured on HBO, Forbes, so many well-known platforms, and I want to know how she even get that interview with Angela Bassett. Yes, I want to know how you got that. But I want you,
Ooh,
yes,
yes. I
I
love to
want
talk
you
about that.
I want you to tell us your story.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Taiisha Bradley, and I'm a celebrity publicist. I'm based out of the Nashville, Tennessee area. However, I work basically virtually, so I can work anywhere in the country, in the U.S., even in the U.K. My background is that I started college as a pre-med major. I wanted to be an OBGYN. So I was always into science, went to college, found out that there was a lot of chemistry in that pre-med major. There's a lot of math and chemistry. Math is not my forte, like words and talking and speaking, like that's more my thing. So I decided I wanted to change my major. I went to Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And so, I went to my advisor and I said, I need to change my major. This science is not working out for me. So there was a brand new major called Integrated Marketing Communications. Within that major, you could take classes in news writing, feature writing, news writing, photography, graphic design, marketing, promotions, like everything super creative. I had always been a very creative child. And so, I was like, all right, let me give this a try. I ended up fitting right in and loving it. I did really well in the program and I ended up landing an internship at a Radio One station in Charlotte, North Carolina. And that was like the beginning of kind of like what catapulted me into becoming a celebrity publicist.
So my question is, who are some of your celebrity clients?
Who are some of my celebrity clients? Well, listen, celebrity publicists never tell, but we tell like who our past and present clients are, and you have to determine whether they're past or present. So you may have seen one of my past clients on Game of Thrones. His name is Gary Wills. He's an actor in the UK. The strange thing about working with Gary was that when he got cast into season 6 of Game of Thrones, he had never even seen one episode of Game of Thrones, and neither had I. So we both had to like commit to binge watching Game of Thrones just to make sure that, we were able to be caught up and able to have intelligent conversations and interviews with the media about Game of Thrones. Another one of my clients was Matthew Lesko, and he was technically one of my first celebrity clients. And he is the guy, depending on how old you are, you may or may not know who this is. But he used to come on the late night infomercials. He was the guy with the question marks all over his suit, and he always talked about the different books for free money. So he was kind of like my first celebrity client, and I signed him on to work with a project for him to promote a book. And it was the time that all of the baby boomers were retiring, and it was called Free Money for Baby Boomers. So I put it out there, and I got him a big story, which was actually landed in AARP, but it was not like a super positive story. They were like, hey, this guy may have some help, but watch out, late night infomercial kind of thing. So it was kind of like a little bit sketchy. And I thought for sure that he was going to be so mad. But what he said was, you got me in AARP. Like, great job. Because that was his target audience. So whether the story was super positive or whether it had like a little of a negative spin, it was in AARP. And, people were checking it out and buying the book. So those are a few, just like two of my celebrity clients. But I have worked in the past with Mo Thugs when they broke away kind of from the Bone Thugs and Harmony. I've worked for some athletes, some politicians in the DC metropolitan area. So it just really spans across the country and different people that I work with on projects.
Well, I kind of figured that you couldn't tell it to your clients because for me that was common sense, but I know that's not common sense to everybody else
Yeah.
because I'm kind of in the industry, so I kind of know a little something. But I need to.
Yeah.
My client is Beyonce because I know Beyonce got them NDAs, honey, and she ain't playing.
Yeah. Well, Beyonce has had the same publicist since she was with Destiny's Child. Like that is publicist goals. Like if I could have like one bomb client, that I could be with for the duration of their career, like that would be ideal that would be totally goals. But she's had the same publicist for a super long time.
I believe it. It's Beyonce.
Mhm.
Like, who would not want to keep working with her?
Right.
So, so I know you've been doing this. I know you've been doing this since 2002. My next question for you is, and my question may go all over the place.
That's
So,
okay.
alrighty. So, what are some tips that you can give the viewers and listeners today? Hashtag dropping gems. Like, what are some tips? Like, I'm a small business owner as well.
Mhm.
Some tips you can give somebody immediately who's watching this and be like, hey, how can I get my business featured in a magazine?
Okay. The way that you get your business featured in a magazine is first of all, your business has to be stable to start with. The last thing that you want to do is divert a whole lot of attention to your website that's not done or that may crash or, to promote a product that you only have 12 of and there's 5,000 orders for it. Okay. So you want to make sure that the business that you have is already stable, that you are feel like you're already presentable to the public, that your website is working, that you have customer service in order, that all the things are together in case you get a lot of attention. So that is the very base thing. Make sure that your business is stable and ready for the amount of attention that being in the media, particularly a magazine, can bring to you. So the first thing that I tell people to do, particularly if you want to get any kind of media features, get yourself in the media, is to find your story. That is the main thing, to find your story. What is it about you, your story, your journey that makes you different from everyone else? And so I'll give you an example like t-shirts. Lots of people sell t-shirts. Lots of people sell the same t-shirts, right? But when it comes to like branding, customer service, what is the mission and message around one t-shirt company over another t-shirt company? That is what is going to make people decide to go with you. It is your story. So a lot of people have trouble deciding what their story is, or they think it's something like, really big and dramatic that they have to do. But really, your story is kind of when you got to the point where you decided, listen, I want to start a business and I'm going to be serious about it and I'm going to do what I got to do. What made you get to that moment? Okay, what made you get to that moment? That is a part of your story. So, what brought you to the moment that you wanted to start a business or a brand or some kind of initiative? What motivated you to do that? That's a part of your story. Okay. And then you share what you did. So I was motivated, by this. And then this is what I did to take action. And this is what I'm trying to do now. Right. Because media, they want a story. Okay, so what might be interesting just to you, or you just want to get the word out your business because you want to sell a couple t-shirts? Well, hey, everybody wants to get on the news, everybody wants to sell their shirts, right? But what is different, what is unique about you, what can capture an audience to make them stop and give you special attention? And that is going to be your story. And people can copy your t-shirts, they can copy your branding, they can copy your style, but they cannot copy your story. Your story is individual to you. So you absolute at minimum have to tell your unique story to even begin to stand out to the media. Did that resonate with anybody? Y'all comment below if that hit. Because a lot of people, they don't know their story, or they think that it has to be, something elaborate and fairy tale. Like your story is really like what happened, what got you to this point.
How did you get there?
Nobody else's story is the same as yours. So don't worry about people stealing that, because they can't. That's what makes you unique. That's what people cannot steal. They cannot steal your story.
I love that you said that people cannot. What I took from that, I love everything you said because I actually rewatched my episodes for note taking, but
Mhm.
I love what you just said. Nobody can steal your story. Your story is for you. So what I
Right.
went through and what you went through is not going to be the same path. You
Right.
probably went left and I went right, and we have ways. We trying to get to the same place, but we both got there two different ways. I love that. I
Right.
hope that
And that's
resonates.
what the media wants. They want your story. They're not going out of their way to sell your product or your service. Listen, people want to hear a story. This is what I say. Everybody loves a good story, right? Everybody loves a good story. That's why we like reality TV and all kind of stuff and we lean into gossip. But listen,
Mhm.
everybody has a story to tell, right? So if
Right.
everybody loves a good story and everybody loves a story to tell, then why are you waiting to tell your story? Like somebody is dying to listen to hear your story, because your story could be like theirs and your story could be totally different, and that can make the person grateful that they don't have these hurdles, and different things to keep them, that they really had it good. So you have to share your story, especially if you're in business. It's kind of like your obligation. It's your obligation. Everybody's out here to make a coin or two, but everybody's always out here to, kind of make a difference as well. So you
That
have
part.
to be aggressive about that, you know.
I would say I like how you say you have to be aggressive about that, because I know I have been very aggressive about my brands and me putting my face out there. And I know some people don't put their face in front of their brands, but I know
Mm,
actually I do want my story to land in big, well known magazines, not just mom and pop magazines. I'm talking about well known national credit magazine like yourself. How you already
mhm,
been featured on so many things that I want to be featured on in the
mhm,
future. So I'm excited to have you, and that was a hashtag dropping in for me. I don't know about nobody else in the audience.
uh-huh.
That resonated.
Right.
If you guys have
Awesome.
questions, please comment below, and we would get to them. But till then, I'm gonna ask my questions that I already have for her. Um, my question for
So I
you.
want to go into the next thing, because you actually said what what would kind of come next, and that is that dream list of magazines. You need to create a dream list of magazines. So you can't say I want to be in magazines, because that's all the universe heard. The universe heard magazines, period. Like any magazine. You need to say what you want to be. I want to be in Forbes magazine. Write that down on the list as your goal. I want to be in Essence. Write that down. You need to see those things and tangibly write those out and see them every day. You need a target to hit. You know what I mean? If you don't have a target, you're not gonna hit anything, or you're just gonna be kind of throwing darts. So make a dream list of the magazines that you want to be in. Write it down in your journal, write it out on your dry erase board. I see you have one back there. I took mine down, so but I'm all about a good old dry erase board, and write down the magazines
Yes.
that you want to be in, because that helps you think of your mind frame. I know that I want to be in Essence magazine. They have a certain look and a certain brand and appeal. So, all right, I need to make sure that my branding is on point. That's it's something that would look right and, fit in Essence. I want to make sure that, my story is tight, because it needs to be something that will fit in there. That way, when you know what you're aiming for, you can make adjustments to like your business and your brand and how you move and how you operate
Hmm.
to attract that audience. That's the thing, the difference between like having an audience.
Okay.
There's a difference in a way, having like a follower and audience. We have followers, those are people following you on social media. They kind of see what you post. It might be something they're interested in, they're not. With public relations, you are producing for an audience. These are set people that that you want to have the attention of, right? Okay,
Hmm.
so those are certain kinds of customers, your dream customers. Who are those people? Am I doing everything I can to appeal to those particular people? Like everybody else is watching, that's fine, y'all can look. But I'm putting on, for this kind of client.
Hmm.
I'm putting on for this kind, because I want to work with this kind of brand and they're on the up and up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
How do
everything I
you
do.
get to email the editor of the magazine to even possibly get featured? And I know you have to
We're going to
email
get to
monthly
that,
in.
girl. We are going to
Oh,
get to that.
okay. I was wondering because I'm like, wait, 'cause I
I'm
wonder
going
how
to
do
be
you
giving
get
all the
featured.
tea. I'm not one of those people who kind of tell you a little bit and be like, oh, well, okay.
You
Like,
gotta
I'm
book
going to tell
me.
you exactly what to do. Exactly what to do. So it looks like someone had a question a few
Okay,
minutes ago.
it was any advice on how to promote our story.
Yes. So the way that you promote your story is by telling it. You get booked on podcasts, and when they tell you to introduce yourself, you tell your story. And you share it and share it and share it and share it and share it. You book another podcast, and what do? You share your story. So the way that you even kind of bring in, really rein in what your story is keep telling it over and over and over again on any platform that you can. Every now and then go on social media. There are lots of people who follow you now who didn't follow you before, who don't know your story. So go up there and post your story again. I say do it at least every 3 months to, kind of let people know who you are, the background. That's how people start to vibe with you when they hear like, kind of that backstory. So the way to promote your story is to continue to talk about it and tell it. And people will start to be attracted to you. They'll say, I heard your story, or I read about you, I'm interested in this and that. So the best way to promote your story is just to talk about it. Tell everybody, every opportunity that you have to introduce yourself in a Facebook group, tell that story, because it's the story that hits different, right? It's the story that hits different, that where people can kind of connect with you. So continue to tell your story over and over again. And you'll notice that you will sometimes skip some parts. And sometimes there'll be parts that you never ever miss in your story. So I find that my story is fine-tuned the more that I tell it. I'm like, oh, I always say that. So that must be significant part of my story. Or sometimes I say this part and it's probably not a significant part of my story. So I just really kind of adjust it that way. So you wanted to know about how to get in contact with the magazine. So the first thing that you can do is study the magazine. Actually pick up a physical magazine. If it's a physical magazine that you want to be in, we know that lots of them are digital, but if it's a physical magazine, go to the actual store, Barnes and Noble, Dollar General, Walmart, wherever you can get a magazine, and get one of each of the magazines that you want to be in. Get those physical magazines, bring them home, sit down, look at the cover. What does the cover look like? What are the topic areas? Look inside at the directory, at the listing, see what kind of stories that they're covering, see how long, certain articles are. There's certain articles that cover like a few pages. There's some things that's just very small, that it's a blurb. Really study the magazine and see what they're doing, see how they lay it out, what kind of stories that they're doing. And a number one place that you want to look at in a physical magazine is the page that's called the masthead. And that's masthead, the masthead. And the masthead is where they tell you, who's the publisher of the magazine, when it was published. It tells you who the editor is, who all the writers are, the contributing editors, the photographer. It tells you who everyone is, right? So of course in that, it doesn't have the contact address, but you have good old Google, right? So Google the names and see what you can find. The best place to follow media is on Twitter. Media are more active on Twitter. It's a lot more acceptable to DM like a reporter or a journalist on Twitter. So take that masthead and search those names, and then follow them on Twitter, and then just start to connect. You'll start to see the people that you follow, these writers. You'll start to see them write articles, comment on it, like it. Hey, this is a really great article, because you know what you're doing. You're building a rapport. So when you do pitch and you shoot your shot, your name is kind of familiar, because is that the nice lady from Twitter that likes all of my stuff, or is that my friend on Twitter who I interact with? So it helps you start to get a rapport. So study magazines, and look up those people in the masthead on Twitter, and start to follow them and engage with them just on a regular basis until you're shooting your shot, because that's starting the basis of building a relationship. And everyone knows that, with PR, with Publicists, we are so built on relationships. What might be a nerve-wracking pitch that you have to send to someone you might not know could be a call from me, the essence, like, hey girl, I got this story. Do you want to run it? Yes or no? So it's a lot about the relationships, but people can build relationships with journalists as well. They just have to be genuine relationships, so they can tell if you're just trying to be nice and fish around for an opportunity. So definitely study that masthead. And then the other thing that you can study when it comes to magazines are what is called the editorial calendars. And editorial calendars are usually found in the media kit for a magazine. So let me break it down and tell you what a media kit is. So each magazine, most magazines have a media kit, and typically what it's used for is for advertisers, right? Because you know that you can buy $100,000 ads in a magazine. But if you're going to buy ads in a magazine, you would want to know what magazines are coming out which month, so you could decide which magazine you want to place your ad in, right? So they have those editorial calendars in there that tell you what each magazine is going to be talking about every month so that you can advertise in it. You can also use those calendars to decide when to pitch yourself to those magazines based on what that magazine subject is going to be like. They're typically about 3 months in advance. So from today, 3 months out is when you should be pitching. So if you're watching this today, the first day of March, so that's March, April, May. So you need to go ahead and just be starting to pitch for May, June, July, August, like the rest of the year. Anything else is already gone, in a national magazine. But what you will see is a date, and the date that ads are due it's a little bit loose, it's not exact, but at least a week before or a week after is going to be the cutoff for pitches as well. So learn about magazine media kits and get into those. You can do something like Google search Forbes media kit and see what comes up. And they usually have a page, the media kit, and then you can click on it, either look at it online or download it. And it also gives you lots of information about the magazine, the demographics, the age and range and gender and sex of the people who read it, how much their income are. So that can help you also decide if that magazine is good for your target audience as well. So definitely learn more about magazine media kits, and definitely find those editorial calendars inside of the media kit so you can know what to pitch and when. So we get that.
You just gave me so much. I literally wanted to get up and get this Vogue magazine I just bought.
Yes.
I
Yes.
so bad, but I was glued. Like I don't want to move.
Yeah, the information is out there. You just have to know what you're looking for and where to look for it.
Clearly, because I didn't even know none of that. I don't know about my viewers, but I didn't know none of that. And I love this comment. I pinned it. It says, "I love the topic. Wonderful advice. I'm tuning in and listening. Thank you so much, TJ, for tuning in and listening and learning with me. Y'all see, I'm learning. Like,
thanks,
y'all
TJ.
See,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
You just gave me so much knowledge. I didn't even know a magazine had all that. I know you have to pitch 3 months ahead. I knew that much.
Yes.
But I didn't know how you know when to pitch to the magazine till you just broke it down.
Exactly. You check out that editorial calendar, because say
the magazine.
Can you repeat that?
Is that inside the magazine?
That is not inside the magazine. That is online. It's typically used for advertising purposes, so people can buy advertising. But if you don't want to buy advertising, you just want to do public relations, which is the same thing but free almost. You can use that same information. It's called a media kit.
Now that media kit is what we use if we want to reach out to them to want to be featured. Or are you talking about the calendar? Is the calendar, so which one is in the magazine, the media kit or the calendar?
The masthead page is inside of the physical magazine. That's just one page with everybody listed. So you would have to like Google those people's names to kind of find them online. If they have their email address public, you can pitch them. It's okay. If they have their email address public and you can find their email address online, it's free game. Some journalists have private emails that they don't share, don't circulate. If they aren't expecting it from you, like they won't look at it. But if you can find it online, it's considered public. And so really, journalists move from publication to publication like all the time, like no big deal. So it's almost impossible. Like if you subscribe to a media list, like it could be no good at any point in time, which is why I like to do my own by hand. And I encourage other people to as well, because people move, people move from publications all the time. So basically when you want to pitch somebody, you need to look up the person in charge every time, because it could be someone different, like at any point in time. So yeah.
Feature on HBO and Forbes?
I wasn't featured on HBO. One of my clients was featured on HBO. So if you see on my website, it'll say you've seen me and my clients featured here. One of my clients who's featured on HBO was the person from Game of Thrones.
Gotcha.
But the magazines that I've been in, I was in Forbes last
Mhm.
January talking about Google Task. You would think that I would be in there talking about publicity, but I wasn't. I was talking about Google Task. But the amount of people who Googled my name anyway and found me, because I was a publicist, just astronomical. So you don't always have to be talking about exactly what your business is. You could be talking about things that you know a lot about and still, get media coverage. Just last week, I was featured in Good Housekeeping magazine,
Mm.
talking about the Biden-Harris administration. And so, again, I'm not talking about PR, but it says Taiisha Bradley, celebrity publicist. And so many people have Googled that. Like my website has just been like going crazy from all across the country, so you don't always have to be speaking about directly into your business. You can just be getting your name out there, but of course, the more that you are talking about what you actually do, the better. But there's just segues to get in there, because what happens is I link those articles from my site and I
Mhm.
put the article link, and what it does is it creates a backlink. So, and if you can imagine, this is my little small site, and this is Forbes, right? So they published the article, and I published it on my site. It automatically is going to make a backlink. So when people on my site is saying, "Hey, check out Forbes," when people on Forbes site is saying, "Hey, check out Taiisha," you see what I'm saying? So now I'm getting all this traffic from a backlink that's connected to Forbes.
And that's
You
funny.
can't buy that.
I just started doing
You
that. Like
can't buy that.
I just got featured somewhere, and I literally just added their link to my website to go
Yes.
back to them. That was my first time ever doing it, and I
Yes.
said, let me add, let me add this and see what happens. Versus
Watch your traffic. Watch your
right,
traffic. It's
I
going to
literally just started
increase.
doing that. So my
Yeah.
next feature is gonna be a link they can go directly
Yes.
to put
Yes. And
their
that's why
picture
you
up.
don't want to pay for publicity, pay somebody, because the links that they're going to give you are not going to be good quality backlinks. They're going to go back to like a blog or a contributor account where they might have written it for you. They'll say, "Oh, I'll get you featured on ABC." And the next thing you know, they go to their account on ABC in, East East, I don't know, East Turkey, Illinois, some place that you have nothing to do with or anything, and they publish a story under their name and say, "Hey, I got you featured on ABC." Well, not really, because it was on a local channel where you have, the power to just type something up. And so that link isn't even that strong, and it's not even sending over the kind of people that I need. That's
You know
why
what?
you don't pay for that placement. When people say, "Oh, I can get you here, here, here. Just give me this much money,"
It's
because
funny.
they guarantee you publicity, because they guarantee you that they're just going to go right over there, type something up for you, and take your money. But and it might look good. Oh, I've been featured on ABC, but really, have you? Are you getting like that big, that return? Because that's what you want. You don't just want the vanity, say, "I've been here, I've been there." You want that traffic, those people coming from those big sites coming to your website and finding you.
That is crazy you said that, because I was literally going to pay this girl to do my press release for my coloring book. And she said, "I can have you featured in over 400 publications." And I said, "How, Sway?" That's what I'm asking her. She said, "I
Yeah.
got you." So, and it's funny you just said that, and I was literally about to pay
And
her.
she probably could get you in 400 places, but is it going to be in the places that matter? You know what I mean? Is it going to be
And that
places
was
that's
my
going to
question to
kick
her.
quality traffic back? You can buy followers on Instagram, and you can have 1 million followers, but if they're not real followers, they're not buying anything from you, they're not sharing anything. So like, what's the point of it? You know what I mean? So if you aren't like actually, reaping benefits as well from lending your expertise to the media, they got to give you something back, right?
Mhm.
So you have those links. That's why I can't believe when entrepreneurs have been featured, here or there. I don't care if it's your local newspaper. I don't care if it's your church newsletter. Put it on your website. That builds your credibility and your authority. You will see in my intro, it says, um, talking about, credibility, visibility, credibility, and authority. Number one, do people see you? You got to make sure that people see you and see you everywhere. When you're everywhere, when people be like, "I see your stuff everywhere," good. That's,
That's
it
a
sounds
compliment.
good.
That is a
Yeah.
compliment. That's the
And then
biggest
that
compliment. in the world.
Exactly. And then that credibility, letting people know where you've been, putting those media logos on your site with the links, that helps make other people feel more comfortable with doing business with you because they see that you've been featured in the media believes in you. It automatically gives you like that cosign of being legit. And then that authority, once people know who you are, once they know you're legit, like you the boss, you are the go-to person in that industry. And
People
so
want to
that's
be
kind
able
of
to trust you. That's all. They want to be able to trust that
right.
you're not scamming them. Because there's so many scammers out here in the world, not just Atlanta.
But you know who people do trust, and some people say, "Oh, maybe not." But like the media, they'll believe the media over you and me. They'll believe if
The media,
Forbes says I'm dope, they'll
media,
believe Forbes over they'll believe me saying I'm dope myself.
but the
So it's
media
that
lies.
third party.
But we did have a comment, and after this comment, we're going to
Yes.
go on a 1 minute break, you guys.
Okay.
It says, "Wow, so focusing on the target audience. Do you mind asking? Do you mind me asking a little insight on this?"
Mm-hmm. I'm
TJ,
so
comment.
Yeah, so focusing on the target audience. So that's the thing. This is the thing. We are, as entrepreneurs, we're so conditioned to putting on a show for everybody. You know what I mean? We do have like our target customer, but outside of the target customer, which is the person who you're trying to sell something to or your client sign up for something, who else do you want to see you? If you're a nonprofit, do you want foundations to see you, to give you money? They're a part of your audience. Of course, you want, people to buy stuff from you, customer clients, they're a part of your audience. If you want to work with a brand, say if you do makeup and you want to, be a crayon cutie for the crayon case, that's another person in your audience. So what are you doing to make sure that you're showing up for the people who you want to be watching you? There'll be lots of people watching you. Those are like spectators. But how do you show up and what do you put out there for the people that you want to see you? Like, I'm doing this because I want this brand to see me and approach me. I want to, be out there because I want this caliber of a client or customer. Think about who you are performing for your audience. So you can't control who's watching you, but you can definitely control the content that you're putting out and for whom. And you want to put out content for the people who can move the needle in your business the most. So think about who your audience is and not just who's watching, not just the customers, but everyone that you want to make a good impression on so that you can elevate your business. I hope that answered the question.
I think you answered that question great because I was over here taking notes myself. Like,
yeah,
you guys will be back in 1 minute. I have a new artist to feature. I think you guys are gonna love her. Her name is Neela. I think she's gonna be in this Megan Stallion. You heard it here in the Bedroom Talk Show first. I think she's gonna be as big as Megan. So we'll be right back.
That's a real bad chick. I might just need a whooping. He like Dilla, that's a different type of woman. All these bills up in my pocket got me walking kinda crooked. Bend it over, get that thing a little shake. I know we looking, yeah. I been good, you don't wanna see my bad side. I'm a heartbreaker, they call me the bad guy. I don't need a nice boy, I kinda like the bad type. I told him, baby, you can't be my man until your cash right. Once he get with me, I guarantee you he gon' act right. Left my last nigga in the dark, he need a flashlight. Now he call my phone on that soft shit. Lame ass nigga, you just clearly wasn't built for a boss bitch. Hustler baby, I could never settle. They can't keep up cause I'm on another level. The chain master bezel, he tell me I'm the devil. Long hair, fat ass, yeah, the booty on jello. I'm way too grown for your bullshit. I ain't got no time for your bullshit. Don't hit my line with your bullshit. I'm way too fine for your bullshit. Boy, I'm way too grown for your bullshit. I ain't got no time for that bullshit. Don't hit my line with that bullshit. I'm way too fine, I'm way too fine.
I hope you guys enjoyed that little music break. We're getting right back to the show.
Hey, it's over. We're not bringing it back. We're not bringing it back. Listen, that's my get dressed kind of music. Don't tell nobody.
Right? what I like about her, why I say she's Miss Megan Stallion, she is an engineer in the day, and at night she's a rapper. Like, yeah. And that's her real body. Like, Megan brought up a whole new culture. I think Megan brought a whole new culture. She letting them when people know you can be smart and still be a rapper. I love it.
I have a funny story about Megan Thee Stallion. I'm gonna tell it real quick. And listen, this is allegedly. I don't know if it's true. So when me and my best friend, like our freshman year of college, right, we went to the mall in my hometown. And so there was this little girl in the store dancing in the front of the mirror, and she was like kind of twerking. And this is before twerking was like a thing. We called it booty popping then. And she's just going and going. I'm like, look at this little girl. What is she doing? And then her mom turns around and sees her, and she's like, Megan, come here. And we're like, Megan. So anyway, all those years later, you know, we still talk about Megan every now and then when we do a dance, like do the Megan, you know how you bring up stuff with your friends. And I was like, you know what if that was Megan Thee Stallion? Because I just had never seen a little brown girl named Megan, and not even Megan. Her mom said Megan. And that's why it stood out, you know, because that's kind of like the cheerleader name. And so I got online, you know, all these years later, and I was like, let's see, you know, when she's born. And listen, that would have made her about that age at that time. At that time. So we have this funny story where, you know what I'm saying, we thought we saw little Megan Thee Stallion when she was like 9 or 10 years old in the mall.
I mean, you do live in, I mean, you probably was in Texas around that time, so.
I was not.
Wasn't?
No, but hey, I was in South Carolina where I'm from, and everybody knows that everybody grandma lived down south, so she might have been visiting. Megan, if that was you, let me know if that was you in the store that day.
That is hilarious.
But yeah, that artist, she was super dope. She was super dope.
And she got other good music that I'm waiting for her to give me permission to share.
What's her name again?
Neela.
All right. I'm gonna look her up and put her in my Get Dressed playlist. Put in the rotation.
Neela, and she's very nice. She's very approachable. I talked to her. I can't wait to interview her. You guys cannot wait.
Yeah, so
awesome. You brought this up, and I already had it ready and locked and loaded. Why is it important to have a press release for your brand?
It's important to have a press release for your brand so that you are always ready. You don't have to get ready when you're ready. So when you have an announcement, or you are having a campaign, or there's something changed, you hired someone, any big news you can send out in a press release. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that you'll get covered right then, but the media, they're people too, so they may just kind of keep you in mind, keep tabs on you, you know, may find something that you send in down the line interesting, but you know, it kind of builds a rapport. So it's important to have a press release on ready just in case you need to send it to make an announcement. You can have like a base press release and then kind of tweak it and take some things out and put some things in to customize it as needed. But it's basically kind of like a one-sheeter information about your business that you can send to the media, and they can have, you know, all the basic information that they need to know about you to either decide if they want to move forward with you on a story or an interview, or to actually use that content inside of a story or an interview. I recommend that you take some time and make sure that your press release is well written. Oftentimes my press releases that are well written, the magazines or the newspapers will just print them as is. So I don't have to worry about them changing something, leaving something out, because it's so well written that it can just be copy pasted into an article.
Sorry, I had some technical difficulties. I don't know what just happened.
Okay.
Because I want to get my business out there more, so I decided I want to do press release. So this comes my next question: why is it important to be featured in publications?
It's important to be featured in publications because it gives you the biggest credibility boost. You know, it's one thing to, you know, buy Facebook ads and, you know, post online, you know, saying how great you are. Advertising, marketing, it's really salesy. You know, it's really salesy. And for some businesses and brands, you know, that's appropriate. But for some business and brands where you're trying to build a rapport with people, like if you're a coach or if you're an author or you want to do guest speakings, people want to know who you are, and they want to know that you are trustworthy and credible. So being featured in the media gives you an opportunity to tell your story, you know, to tell your story on a vast scale, something, you know, more in depth than a quick tweet or a video or, you know, something like a live. It's where you can actually sit and talk and answer questions that you wouldn't want to, you wouldn't normally, you know, kind of answer. It's in a more formal setting. So when you are featured in brands, you know, that can be seen in front of millions of people, as opposed to you posting something yourself, which can go in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people. But if you could have, one opportunity to be featured on a media platform and be put out there to, a million people, it just definitely amplifies your message in one shot. I would rather have one really good article, like in a magazine, or, be featured in a newscast, than to have, 10 ads running. It just really has a greater impact to be presented into the press. So it's important, to be featured in that way, to let people know, that you are credible and you are an authority in your industry, because the news is co-signing that for you.
So basically, the point of being featured, from what I gather so far, is credibility. And it's also for people can trust you more. If people can trust your brand, be like, okay, I love, and it's really all about your story, technically.
Right.
So,
And also the visibility, how, when there's so many people in your industry, how do you do this on them? How do you peel off on them? It's going to be publicity, because a lot of us are doing kind of the same things. We're trying to ads and a few things, but man, if you can get that story and take off, it can really give you a catalytic push, especially for people who are in their businesses. I find a lot of people who come to me, they're successful, but they, and the next level was here, and they're so close, but they just can never like quite move the needle. You know what I mean? Publicity will do that. It'll get you over that hump.
And I'm trying to get here, but for some reason I can't get here. Like, I'm like, okay, what is it? What am I missing? And it may be what you're saying. I maybe need to get myself in magazines and get myself on these well-known platforms to push even more. So
and you can start small. I recommend that you start small, because you know who gets the most publicity the easiest? The hometown hero. That is the person who is putting on for their city at home. What are you doing for your city? What are you doing to stand out? Are you doing great things internationally? Let your local media know. They're looking for things to, to share and to publish all the time, and no one better than somebody right there. So be the hometown hero to start off with. If you have like a local magazine, in your community, pitch yourself for that. If you're doing something, send press releases to your local newspaper, to your local radio station. Yeah, I know it might be an AM station, but it don't matter. Like, is your competition on the radio? Don't worry about if I'm on an AM station or not. Because you can always.
I never thought of that.
You can always reshare your content. Like, listen, the media in my town, they know me. They know me. Because that's how you start off. You start off as a hometown hero. So before, you're trying to jump in the Elle magazines and the Vogues and the Black Enterprise, get in your local stuff. Listen, you ain't popping unless you popping in your own city. Okay. So start at home. Start at home. Start where you are and be that hometown hero. Do things in your community. Show up in your community. Be visible. You don't have to kind of start at the top. You can, get your way up there, and then you can build on that and say, okay, Enterprise magazine, Black Enterprise magazine. Okay, I haven't been in a national magazine, but I've been in this, and I've been on that, and I've been on a radio station in my town.
Building your resume.
Yes. Build up to that, because as you build up, you'll get more things, and as you do more publicity, you'll get more opportunities, because people will be like, oh, okay, she's done a few things. This is a safe person, because not all people are safe, right? Some people are crazy, right? So the last thing you want to do is be a journalist, and you connect with somebody because their story sounds good, and all right, that's fine, and you get them on camera and they crazy. Or they going off talking about something. But when you have like a portfolio built up with links, people can see that you've done this before and that you're credible, and like it went okay, and they'll trust you. Nobody wants to bring the dud to work. And it's the same thing with journalists. They're going to want to know that that you're credible and that you can do this, and you'll get more opportunities. I'm working with the lady right now that it's just. What is my formula? Well, I'm kind of telling you. It's the visibility.
I think this is her formula. I think if anybody's paying attention, I think this is her formula. Well, I was like,
this is the formula. I'm giving y'all the answer. I just can't make you do it. It's the visibility, People got to see you. They got to know you out there. You got to get in front of your brand. Like if you don't want to do it, then, prepare to do just well enough, to kind of pay your bills, to be cool and everything. But if you really want to pop off, you got to get in front. You got to show people who you are, because that's what people buy into. They buy into that story. They want to see you. I'm an introvert, but when I decided I wanted to scale up and have higher celebrity clients, I had to start jumping on the camera and being in front of it, which is the last thing that I like to do, but it is working for me. So yeah, you got to get visible so people can see you. You got to get that credibility so people trust you. Yeah.
Some people don't want to be visible, because my best friend, she's one of them people. She didn't want to be the face of her brand, and I was like, people buy into the story, so you don't have to reel them in and tell them your struggle, and they be like, "Oh, I want to support her because she was struggling. Mom trying to start a business for her daughters."
Yeah, that's the story.
I would support that. Like, oh, you struggling?
Right.
You trying to do something for your kids? Here,
Right.
I buy your lip gloss. I buy your hairbrush. I buy whatever, because that story resonates with me. So I agree with the story piece. I don't think people realize how much their story touched other people, because some people are not as vocal as me and you. Some people would never tell their story. They would just sit there in silence and not say anything and just watch everybody else. So
you know what? If you have a story to tell, I'll say this. If you have a story to tell and you don't want people all in your business, or you don't want to get emotional about it, I will say this. You could be doing someone else a disservice by not telling that story. There could be somebody out there in the same situation that you are in that see no hope or don't think that there could be any kind of good ending to it. And they just need somebody who's there just like that to tell them that story. How could you not? If you want to be in business, not only are you in it for profits, but you need to have some kind of passion about it, because entrepreneurship is hard. And if you don't love it, like, it ain't even worth it. Like, it ain't even worth it. Like, if you don't cry, you're not doing it right. So you have to have some kind of purpose or passion.
The stuff you have to sacrifice, the things you have to cut out to run your business. When I tell you, I have a whole schedule. That's how I'm able to contact people and be on time for this and do everything. Today my whole car stopped working, and I still made it on time, because you're the business owner and you have to understand how you want your ship to run or your car to run or whatever the case may be. So everything you just said is so true. You have to be prepared. And some people want to start a business because they think it's all nice and pretty, but they don't be ready for the real tea that goes behind the scenes that they don't get to see.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, and I'm glad that we went here because this is perfect. Just segueing on to the next thing, is because like last night I was on Clubhouse and who was in there? Oh gosh, I'm trying to Prima Donna was in there, and China Bethley. And so they did a talk talking about how people don't see the hard parts of entrepreneurship, but they see and they fixate on the yacht pictures on Instagram. Well, there was a lot of trouble, toil, finances, and issues that led up to that moment, but that's what people fixate on. And that all that glitters, on Instagram and, all the other places is not necessarily gold, that it's really hard. And that those people that we see at the top, they lose money and they cry and they lose friends and they fall out with family. Like, it happens to everybody, we just don't always show those in those highlight reels. So yeah, that's just kind of a thing. So no matter how high up you see people are, it's not easy for them as well. And it's probably harder to stay on top than to even get up there, because that's a lot of pressure. But the good segue to that is when, I went to talking about, I was listening to that on Clubhouse, is that Clubhouse is my boo. It's my new PR boo, honey. So let me tell you, if you want to get into magazines or any kind of media, Clubhouse. If you don't have an iPhone, get you an iPad. get you an iPod.
Clubhouse?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said, what rooms are you in on Clubhouse?
Listen, you're going to have to follow me. That's what I was going to say. So I am looking to get connected with a lot of TV producers. I have a client now who's really active in TV. She's on TV shows and like TV. So I'm like, all right, I need to, get more into TV. And so I asked a question in, like a TV producer room, like, how do I find y'all? How do I connect, And so this one lady showed you to do. She said, I'm a TV producer and I'm connected to tons of other TV producers. If I were you, I would follow me and follow who I follow. You got that? I was like, cool, I got it. So that's what she recommended that I do. And that's what I recommend other people do. When you find someone like in your industry, if you want to be in magazines, for instance, Food and Network magazine has a room on Clubhouse. They have a club on Clubhouse, and they have like little meetups like every day, a couple times a day. So if you're a chef, you would want to be in that Food Network magazine club like every day, just listening, seeing what producers say, seeing what the writers say, tapping on other people and seeing who they are and following them, see who the moderators are, and follow them. So if you want to, find like TV producers, media people, follow me on Clubhouse. Follow who I follow because I'm doing what the lady said. She told me to follow who she follow. I'm like, yes. And so when I did that, it was like unlocking another level, right? Because then I'm not seeing crazy stuff. You know how we can see that crazy stuff on Clubhouse. I'm not seeing so much crazy stuff.
I can't figure out who I follow that follow these ratchet rooms. Like, why are you following these ratchet rooms?
Listen, because if you go in a ratchet room, it's going to start showing you ratchet rooms. So don't be tempted to go in there and be like, oh, they crazy. Let me see what they're talking about in there. Don't do it because the algorithm will be like, oh, you like this. And that's what it will show you. But as I started to follow these people in media, these writers, producers, editors, I started seeing rooms, all kinds of different rooms where I'm like, oh my gosh, in different clubs, where it's just all national TV producers and editors, and they're like, Taiisha, come on up and talk. And I'm like, me? Okay, and then then I got a couple of followers. I've done a lot of networking on Clubhouse, and I just will say, like, if you're looking to reach media people, like, Clubhouse is it. I've never seen so many people in media and like other publicists in one spot interacting. So that's something new that I would add to my list of recommendations is get on Clubhouse and do your research and follow these people and follow them on Twitter too, because I told you what, journalists hang out on Twitter.
I'm so active on my Twitter after this live because I don't use my Twitter.
I know. I only use it mainly for connecting with journalists. It's not my favorite platform, but some of my friends like swear by Twitter, but okay.
I'm never on Twitter, but because it's live, I most definitely want to get off here. I'm about to get on Twitter and
yes,
tweet away. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And you can even create lists.
You turning blue, you're flying. I'm like, I'm on Twitter. I'm trying to secure these magazines and secure.
That's where they hang out. That's where writers and journalists hang out. They love Twitter. So be active on Twitter and shoot your shot on Twitter too. Because, a lot of times they're on there just waiting for somebody to kind of DM them. So
really, and I just left your Clubhouse and I did see you follow some TV product placement producers.
Ooh, yeah. That was a really good room that I was in the other day. Like,
I followed her and I'm about to slide on her DMs.
She the one. She was like, if I were you, I would probably follow. She's the one.
I found her. When you was talking, you didn't see me on my phone. I forgot to remove me off the screen as I was doing it. Let me
that is the plug. When I started following her and following people that she followed, like it unlocked a whole nother level.
I don't think you realize how powerful Clubhouse is. Mm-hmm. Like, when I tell you, I'm not even gonna talk about my success on camera because I try not to. But Clubhouse is my baby daddy. You feel me? Clubhouse is everything. I love it. And shout out to one of my close friends who told me about Clubhouse because Clubhouse is the best thing that could have ever happened.
Yeah. I'll be happy when they let people for Android on it because I used to be team Android, but like team Android keep getting left out. So I was like, let me go ahead and get an iPhone. And then Clubhouse came out and then I couldn't get an invitation at first. So I still feel like I'm late to it, but hey, I'm making up.
I would have been team iPhone for like 4 months. And I'm so happy that I'm team iPhone now because I would have been so left out this party, this Clubhouse party.
There have been people who've been like going out and getting iPhones and iPads just so they could be on Clubhouse. And you know what I say to that? Smart.
I think
because you want to get in before it changes too much, but some people say, oh, it'll fade out and everything. And this is what I say to things like that, because people are like, oh, it's a fad, it'll come and go. People say the same thing about TikTok. Listen, I don't care. I go where the people are, because where the people are is where the money resides. So if they on TikTok, I'm going to be on TikTok. If they're on Clubhouse, I'm going to be on Clubhouse. When they go to Twitch, I'm going to be on the Twitch. You know what I mean? Follow the people. Don't get caught up in that this ain't going to last long. It doesn't matter. Follow your audience.
People don't want to, like, people, I feel like people care about what other people think about them too much, instead of them just being themselves and just being who they're born to be. If you're born to be whoever you're born to be that person. Be that. Don't worry about what this person gonna say and this person gonna say. What I have learned within this year in 2020, people are gonna love you or hate you. It don't matter you're famous, successful, or poor. People are gonna always make up a story and talk about you. Always.
Yeah,
so why not
true.
navigate your own story, and then anybody throw any sprinkles on it, let them throw the embellishments on it, because it don't matter.
Yeah, for sure. But I would say it's probably like the number one thing that entrepreneurs struggle with the most is, like confidence and worrying about what other people think and comparing themselves to each other. I do it a lot. Like, it's just kind of hard not to do. But, what I find is that what comes easy for me and feels good for me is for me. And when I, try to do something that someone else is doing, or if I feel like, okay, everybody is doing this, I need to be doing that. If it doesn't feel good for me and it stresses me out, then I just don't do it. I find something else to do. So, don't don't feel like you're obligated, to kind of do what everybody else is doing. It, everybody, you don't have to have a funnel to do business. That's one of the main things. People, my funnel this, my funnel that. Well, listen, before funnels was invented, people was still getting money. So if you don't have a funnel, or you don't know what a funnel is, or if your funnel ain't functional, don't worry about it. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about funnel this, funnel that. It matters about, is the client getting served? Are you serving the brakes off of that client? Like, are you going above and beyond for that client? They're not going to care about this being streamlined and that streamlined. I think we've gotten away from that a lot, with the online business. Okay, so you're not just an online business. You're a business that also operates online. We need to start thinking about like that. So if you didn't have any of this, all of this, what would you be doing? What would you be doing? How would you be serving your clients? Do you even like go in and research your clients? Go to their website and read every single thing. Go to their social media, look at all that stuff. Do we do that? We don't do that anymore. We don't get to know people. We just try to get them in and out, in and out, in and out. But if we really took the time to get to know our clients, you know what I mean? You could have the same set of clients and be making killer money. I'm noticing people doing that right now. They're just very niche down to, who they serve. And they have a small audience, but they serve the brakes off those audience. And those people just continue to buy. And they're making just as much money as somebody with 1 million followers, somebody with 1,000 followers. You can make the same amount of money as someone with 1 million followers with only 1,000, if you are serving people, well. That's what people really want. So don't get caught up in the automated online, gotta have this, gotta have that, lead magnet this, lead magnet that. Those things help, but those are not the things that ultimately make a business successful or not. They're not.
It's funny you say that, because I'm so tired of hearing the word funnel. You hide yourself. Funnel.
I'm sick of it too.
Please stop with the funnel talk. Like, oh my God, I understand.
It's a fancy word for how you want a person to come into your business, and then what you're going to do and what you want to get them down to. It doesn't have to be that complicated. Like, how are you? Your YouTube channel can be a funnel. I've found so many people that I've spent money with, coaches, just because like I'm obsessed with their YouTube channel. And I love all this stuff. If this is free, man, your paid stuff gotta be bomb. Sign me up, and they say, I'm in, I'm in the Facebook group. I'm on the lives, I'm talking. It's a funnel. It's a funnel.
Never thought of that.
Absolutely. YouTube is the largest video search engine ever. It's Google for video. So when you want to know how to do something, you go to YouTube. How do I unclog the sink? How do I make flaxseed oil? Yeah, it's a search engine. It's a complete search engine.
I didn't even think of it until they said it on Clubhouse. I said, YouTube is nothing but a search engine. I was like,
it is. Yep. And you'll find when you start to ask people how do they find you, they be like, oh, I found you on YouTube. Well, listen, that's the top of your funnel, sis. No complications. You're already doing a funnel. So the next thing is, so when people find you, then where do they go? You see what I mean? So that's the kind of funnel thing. But that's not that hard to think out.
Website, and then hopefully freebie, email list, get them to buy.
That's the funnel. Like, I think we're overthinking a lot and think we
Yeah,
got to
easy
do a lot of
but
things.
they be making it seem like there's so much more.
Yeah. And so when you start to get thousands and thousands of people, and you can hire somebody to hook you up a little funnel, that would be helpful. But when you're just starting out, you're a startup, or you have a couple hundred, couple thousand people, you don't need all of that. Like, calm down. People make entrepreneurship so hard, but man, like I was telling you earlier, I was like, it's your business. You can do what you want to do.
You did tell me that earlier. Let's get into this backstory, you guys. So when I came in the back office, it was just me and her. Nobody can see us. My lights was not bright. I didn't have them on. I was like, well, I don't want to be late. I'm always on time. And mind you, I just came from dealership. I just got bad news about how much my car gonna be cost to get fixed. And I was just, my energy was just down here. She said, Chris, what's your business? This is your podcast. I said, oh, you're so right. So we was like 2 minutes late because I had to set up my lights to make sure that my quality is good. Because like I told her, my goal is to be I was picked up by a Black network, but my ultimate goal is to be picked up by Netflix. Or Issa Rae, I want that out there. Go into the universe, I love her. Anyway,
she has a master class out now too that I can't wait to take. Man, I know it's gonna be so good.
So you guys, she said, Chris, it's your business, and that's when I had to just come back into my.
You can be 2 minutes late. Who gonna check you? Get your lights together, because I said Netflix will care more about the quality of your video than if you came on 2 minutes late. And
when she said that, I said, you know what, sis, you were so right. And I got on like, whew, y'all, I know you see.
Yeah, and you still made it. It wasn't that big.
I still made it on time.
You still made it, right? And you look great.
Thank you. Question for you is, how did you get the interview with Angela Bassett? I want to know.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Is it called Harpo?
Girl, no. Haro. There's no P. The P is silent. It's Haro.
Okay. See,
so listen. So you can say. So I looked up the saying, because sometimes I say Haro. So I looked it up on the Cision website. Cision is the main company, and it says it doesn't matter how you say it. Haro. It stands for Help a Reporter Out. So it doesn't matter how you say it. It's an acronym. But if you go to helpareporter.com, you will find that it is a website that you can sign up for free and get a free account as a source. And as a source, that means that you're able to receive 3 emails a day from reporters, journalists, TV producers, bloggers, people looking for gifts for gifting suites, where they put out into the media that what they're looking for, some type of help with an article. So I've been using Haro since it pretty much kind of started. It used to be like a Facebook group, but then it got really popular and it grew and went into, it got bought by Cision. Peter Shankman is a world-renowned publicist, like fabulous. But he created Haro. It started as a group and then it got bought by Cision. And so now it's like a really big thing. So basically sign up for an account 3 times a day. You'll receive emails from, 50 to 100 journalists that are looking for a quote for a story or someone to interview. They just need help finishing a story. Now, usually the turnaround is pretty quick. Like they need you to respond within like 24 to 48 hours. Sometimes it may be, 3 days or so, but for the most part, it's a really quick turnaround. So I would get those emails each day, 3 times a day, and go through them. And if I saw something that was fitting for one of my clients, I would send it to them, say, hey, I think, we should pitch this. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? And I pitch it. So during that time, I was pitching for a client and I became acquainted with a producer from Amazon. And so this is the time Amazon had Amazon TV along with IMDb. And she was looking for people of color to be on a TV segment in New York. So I called out, some of like my beauty clients, who might have wanted to go on to the Today Show or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was. To get a makeover. And so I ended up keeping in contact with this lady because anytime she needed like a person of color for, some kind of article or some kind of TV segment, she would reach out to me and I would refer her to people. So, and, I'm just doing this for free because I just want to be cool with her. You never know, when I could use that. So one day she got the opportunity, for someone to interview Angela Bassett live on Amazon TV. And did I know someone who would want to do it? And I was like, could I do it? I was like, is that out of line? I don't know. Like, could I do it? And she was like, oh yeah, you want to do it? I was like, yeah, let me get this one because usually I pass those opportunities on. So I got to write out 3 questions that I wanted to ask her. Sent them the questions. And then at the last minute, they were like, yeah, none of these questions you're going to ask this. I was like, well, okay. We say no to that. But, anyway, I asked her the question that they, set up for me to ask her. And it was something about, it was around the time that she was doing American Horror Story, Hotel. And she had that kissing scene with Lady Gaga. And so they made me ask her about that. I was like, listen, this is my one shot to talk to the Angela Bassett, to talk to Auntie. Y'all got me asking her this. But I asked her and she had the biggest reaction. She just like busted out laughing because I had to ask her, how was that, hot steamy kiss with Lady Gaga and what did your husband think about it? And she just busted out laughing. So apparently like it was a thing. Yeah, girl. Her husband, I can't think of his name, but if you Google her husband, he's in a lot of movies. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I can't think of his name off top. You as soon as you see him.
Website as you was talking, you see, I had got off to share the website.
I saw you. Go ahead then. Tech producer and all that stuff. I saw the website for Help a Reporter. So that's how I got to interview Angela Bassett. And so she screamed and laughed and, like kicked her foot up and everything. So apparently, they knew that question was going to be triggering for her. So, but it was great. I got to do it remotely. That was way before COVID. It's probably 5 or 6 years ago when that wasn't even really a thing. And like, I was so nervous and I'm trying to rig lights up and, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, so that's how I got to interview Angela Bassett, just by making a connection with a journalist that was on Hero and keeping in touch with that person. And when an opportunity came my way, it was mine. And so I highly recommend Hero. I recommend it to everybody.
Monthly.
It is free. So you can upgrade to a paid plan. But the only difference between the paid plan and so with the free plan, you get the emails 3 times a day and you just kind of have to wait till you get the emails. If you get the paid plan, then all the emails are just already there. You don't have to, you don't have to wait for them and go through the different emails.
So you but it's have the free one and wait.
You may as well. You may as well. So I guess people who like are publicists like me, who are doing a lot of going through that might want it all at once, instead of waiting for the individual emails. But the individual emails work just fine for me. I use it myself. I kind of go through it, see if there's anything that I can answer, that makes sense. So if you have to force yourself to answer something or rig something, or you feel stressed about answering a query, it's not for you. Like, just pass it by. But if there's something we like, boom, that's perfect. That's right up my alley. I can, answer this right now. Go right ahead. Mm-hmm. So you don't have to do a whole formal pitch. You just have to follow instructions. So whatever the reporter asked you for, only give them that. If they don't ask for your backstory, don't do that. If they didn't ask you about no products, don't do it. Like, that's the rule about Hero. Only answer where they're asking you. Because if you go overboard, like, they're gonna be like, no, block. But it's really great to use.
I'm gonna check. I can't wait to check into that. I was doing it while we was on live, but when I get off live with you, I'm about to be.
Yeah. So usually, let me tell you what happens with people with Hero. So usually 1 or 2 things happen. So people sign up for it, they start getting the emails and they're like, oh my God, this is too much. Like, I can't manage this. Shut it down. They just forget about it. They just forget about it. They don't answer the emails. Or there's people who get it, they look at it, they're like, all right, I want to answer this, but I'm not really sure like what I should do, or if it's okay to do this. I don't know what's against the rules or that. So either people are like, this is too much, or people are like, all right, this is good, but like, what do I do? So I created a online course. It's an on-demand online course. It's called How to Hero. If you go to my website, TaishaBradley.com, one of those links up there will take you take you to the online course. And it goes from the very beginning to telling you kind of like what Hero is, what it can be used for, what kind of media outlets are on Hero, who you could expect to see on there. I give a lot of insider tips just because I've been using it for so long to tell you what this is and what that is. They have a lot of things that are from Anonymous, and usually Anonymous are really big websites or productions, like like the Dr. Phil show will be on there sometimes like what is it, the Today Show will be on there, but they won't say it's the Today Show because then everybody will just be applying for it for no reason. But I've been using Hero so long that I can kind of like read how it's posted and kind of decide who that might be. So yeah, How to Hero course. You are very close. These are some of my favorite tools on my website. So if you want to know like what I use to run my business, you can go to TaishaBradley.com/tools and click on those. But if you go back up to training How to Hero course, yes, right there. So it's hosted on the Thinkific platform, which is a new platform. Well, it's not new. It's new to me. I started using that last year when I decided I wanted to do an online course. And so if you go over to the Thinkific site, to the How to Hero class, you can enroll in the class. You can take a little free preview just to kind of see what it's about, but it's going to tell you what Hero is, how to use it, how to set up an account, what to actually check off in the account. Like I tell you every single tiny thing to do. I also break down, what this means, what that means, so that by the time that you take this class, you'll be so ready. Like you'll be eager for the emails to start coming through. Like, yes, come on, emails. Because it kind of takes maybe like 2 days or so for the emails to start rolling through once you sign up. But if you take that class and then those few days, while you're waiting on it, you take that, like you'll be ready to go. So many people I've recommended it to, and people who've taken that course love it, and they've done so well, and they get hits, and they this hitting me up on Instagram like, girl, I got stuff from Hero, and I'm like, yay. So it really works if you just stay consistent at it.
I interviewed you. When I tell you I love interviewing guests like you in particular, because I get to learn and be quiet and sit back and be like, okay, this, I know somebody who's watching this would need this, versus me talking about drama and stuff like that. So that's why I love my podcast.
Yeah, I like drama too, though. But
Girl, when I go live with you, you know what I'm really gonna be doing?
What?
Watching The Bachelor. Tonight is the
Listen,
woman tell-all with that.
I have not been watching it.
He's so fine. He's so fine.
I just hear that there's just a lot of foolery going on that just didn't happen on the other ones. So I'm going to watch that one. That's a little mild for me. Like, I like my TV with some edge.
You've been watching Married at First Sight with
that's what I'm about to start watching tonight, because apparently everybody hates the one guy. Everybody hates him. So I'm like, listen.
He's trash.
Let me watch this so I can hate him too, so I can know what everybody's talking about.
Chris is straight trash. Like when I tell you, throw him away.
Really? Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna find out for myself. Last night I watched like the casting special, and then I watched like the first little preview thing. So tonight I'll start watching the regular thing. And so the reason why I didn't watch it is because my best friend, she's my TV buddy, she tricked me into watching Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, and I just went straight down a rabbit hole. I was like, oh my gosh.
I don't watch.
So I was like, I'm not watching Married at First Sight because I'm gonna go right down the rabbit hole. But listen, y'all talking about this Chris so much that I just need to see what's going on.
No, my son said every so to watch this season, and I said, let me watch it. As I watched it, I'm like, Paige has no self-love. You will see. You gonna text me or email me. You gonna see it.
I've heard so much about it. I just, whew.
And she's beautiful, and she has no self-love, honey. None. Like
Yeah,
I would leave. Chris is a dog.
that's
He's a
problematic.
girl. He's very girl. That's a good
But you
word.
know that means if he's that bad, like everyone says, that he has some kind of trauma, some kind of issues with him as well,
He
for him to
needs
be
therapy. He
that
needs therapy.
villainous. Yeah,
He needs he needs to sit down and have some therapy
yeah.
because
Well,
there's no
listen.
way you treat a woman like that.
Well, I look forward to watching him and being mad at Chris also.
Every
I'm
time
a
I watch
reality
it,
TV
it's like,
junkie.
oh, here go this dude again. Like I like every couple except him. Really, like he's trash.
So I'll probably have to take breaks then if I binge watch it, because like I get mad in real life.
But that's who he is in real life. So he's not pretending. So that's
Oh my
who he is.
goodness.
So what if Chris? This is to get about to get petty. What if Chris was to like hit you up and be like, "Look, I need you to. I need some PR cleanup because this show has damaged my image." How would you respond to that? Knowing that nobody, I don't know nobody that likes Chris. So how would you respond to that?
Well, there's certain people who, if they hit me up, regardless how famous they are, and they ask me to be their publicist, I'd be like, nah, I'm cool. So I don't do too much like crisis management anymore. I used to do that when I used to work with like a lot of rappers and athletes. And like in this day and time, it's almost like a legal issue. Now, I recommend people to you. I'm like, you just need a lawyer. Like, I ain't fixing up nothing because I don't want to be covering up something that doesn't have to be covered. But I think that the best way to negate like bad image and reputation things is to put more positive things out there. More positive things out there.
So
So if
I don't
Chris
hurt
feels
somebody.
like he's been misrepresented, then he needs to do some things like working in the community, doing things. If people have an issue with how he treats women, then maybe he needs to be donating to some kind of women, some charities for women. Like he needs to be doing something
Girl, he is trash.
to put more positives over the negatives, so when people search him, they don't find Chris is trash, Chris is trash, Chris is trash, like straight down. It might be, peppered in there, but I think over time, when you put out more content and positive content, content is content, regardless
He
how people
deleted
feel,
everything off
it'll
his
get pushed
Instagram.
down.
His Instagram is empty, except from 2019, and he cut the comments off. So he know that his image is messed up because
He's probably having a hard time in life because it's one thing, when the cameras are rolling and you're on TV and such, to be in character and to do what producers might want you to do, and then like and it affects your real life.
oh, I know I don't
So
think producers created that. I think that is truly who he is. So if he's having a hard time right now in life, don't nobody care because if he was at the club, 'cause it was based in Atlanta. Let's say we in the club and Chris approached.
okay.
I would say, I saw you on TV and I don't want no parts. You're toxic. Have a great day. He's
You know
toxic.
what? I don't always default to that. And I guess that comes around me working with celebrities because I've worked with celebrities for a long time. I had a celebrity in my family, and I just know like kind of that celebrity persona is not always the real persona of that person, or it's a part of them kind of magnified, or, the bad parts, the media like to, kind of showcase all those things, but not showcase like the nice moments and whatnot. So,
Mhm.
I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt, and because I see reality TV kind of like as just kind of like regular TV, like they're kind of actors. You have to show me in real life in person that you're that kind of person, because I've met celebrities where I thought that they were going to be like awful, awful people in real life, and they have been super duper nice. I met celebrities that I thought were going to be super duper nice, and they have been awful, awful people. So you just kind of can't really. It's just TV for me. Even if it's a reality show, like I would have to meet the person in person and see, what that vibe is like, as
Okay.
opposed
You have to
to
meet Chris and
TV.
see how it goes because I think that's what he really is. I don't think it's made up.
I
I
don't think
think that's
so.
who he really is. I know my viewers like y'all went off topic. Look, before we went live, she said I can go off topic. So I said, well, let me go off topic a little bit because I've been on topic for the last 4 weeks. 4 weeks.
Oh, that's good. Well, yeah, I did say I like to talk about pop culture and stuff like that
I know
also.
you do because I was like, why I asked you to watch the show
Yes.
yet? Like I
No, I've been avoiding it, but I can't anymore. Like I need to see what's
everybody
up.
timeline is all I see on Wednesday. nights. I have to watch it.
Me
That's
too. That's why I kind of feel peer pressure. And then I'm in like, some like TV groups and everybody's talking about it. And
are you
I'm like, I
on
don't know.
Instagram or Facebook? Because I want to follow whatever you following.
Facebook.
I need to add you on Facebook.
The original Black Netflix group is like my boo. I love that
You said
group.
the original Black Netflix group. Let me
Yeah.
go
And
find
then in
that.
parentheses, it also says like Hulu, like a couple other things, but it's called the original Black Netflix group. And we go in on there, like different threads. And, we talked about Bridgerton. Um, oh, there's another group too that I really liked. It was for, oh gosh, what's the show? My mind is just blinking. With Tick and the monsters and Tick and Letty. My mind is blinking.
I don't watch TV that much. I can't really tell you. I only watch
What?
TV on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Well, it's
So
not on right now.
I don't know what you're talking about. I only watch episode
You know what I'm talking about. My mind is just blinking. Let me think.
I watch Monday nights and Wednesday nights is my days to watch TV. So I don't know exactly.
Lovecraft Country.
I don't watch that.
Get your life. You need to watch Lovecraft Country and binge it too, because you can now. But
I,
there's a really good discussion group that's on there as well. And so we were so sad when it went off TV. We were like, what do we talk about now? So then we did like a little Lovecraft Country summer school kind of thing where we talk about other, films and movies kind of in that genre until it comes back on. So yeah, I love my TV show
That's
groups.
what I love about Facebook. Facebook, what I love about why I cannot personally delete Facebook is the group. It's the groups for me. It's the groups
Yeah.
that I'm in. Like right now, I'm searching for my first celebrity tea person to come on here and drop some celebrity tea during my breaks. Because I be wanting the tea too.
Yeah.
So I'm in Facebook groups looking for that. And I love the Facebook groups I'm in, but that's a
Yeah.
good group. You have any other
Check
group?
Clubhouse also.
Is it
Uh,
club or Facebook group too?
oh no. But I'm saying you can check Clubhouse for like guests also. Other groups that I love on Facebook. One of my other favorite groups. I got my phone out, so I'm looking down. Is Brand Build Launch with Arsha Jones.
Girl, you know I'm in there. Who isn't in that group?
Girl,
Like
everybody is in there. Like
I'm in that
people
group.
who have made it. Like dope people are in it. I love that group, and I get like
I
a
love
lot of
that
good
group too.
advice in there.
That's how I found
And
you.
oh yeah, duh. Yeah, that exactly. So
That's
yeah,
how I
I
found
love that
like
group.
80% of my guests is from that group. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm always
another.
looking for good guests, and I'll be reading. And I'm okay. Oh, you do podcasts? Come on my podcast. Why not?
Yeah, are you in the Women of Color podcasters group? That's
No,
another dope one. And they're actually about to move it off Facebook and onto another platform. I think Patreon.
what is that?
Patreon. It is like a website where you can pay monthly to have access to certain things.
Okay,
Um,
I'm gonna follow you on Facebook, and then I'm gonna DM
yeah.
you the link
Follow who
so
I
I can
follow.
join and
So
study as
Women
well.
of Color, WOC Podcasters is another group that I like. And then podcast guest collaboration and podcast guest connection. Those are nice website sites that I like also, because you can go in there and you can do like hashtag be a guest and then do your spiel, and then anybody looking for a guest searches that hashtag, or you can do hashtag book a guest, find a guest. So if you are looking for podcast guests, then you can do hashtag find a
Okay,
guest,
what
and then
website was that again?
podcast guest collaborations and
.com.
podcast guest connection. No, these are groups on Facebook.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna have to literally email you all these because I was thinking it was a website. It's okay,
See,
but
listen, when I come on live, you need to have a pen and a paper.
I didn't. You know what it is? I normally rewatch my episodes or I listen
uh,
to it in my car. No car right now. While I listen to it, and
uh,
I take notes. That's literally what I do. I don't take notes while I'm watching because I'm trying to interview and learn at the same time.
yeah.
But for you, I was really quiet because I was
Yeah.
like, man, that's a
Yeah,
good
well,
way.
not you, but I'm just saying with other people, if you see me going live, bring a pen and a paper because I'm gonna give you some stuff to take away, some things to write down, and some homework to do. So everybody's homework is to get on to Clubhouse and follow me at Taiisha Bradley. That is right there on the screen. Follow me on Clubhouse and then follow who I follow and unlock some levels, some people to pitch. And then also get on Hero and create that free account and then go over to my website and get that How to Hero class. And so, best thing, it's normally $27. And so I was going to create like a code to give to your watchers for this, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I just went ahead and made it $10 for everybody. And so I'll let it stay up there for a while. So like, I don't know how long, but instead of it being $27, it's just $10 right now. So if you're
Just
watching
$10.
live, go to my website, go to under training, How to Hero course, and then go to it and you'll see that it says $10. But don't tell everybody. It's just for y'all.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on there and I'm gonna look into it because I want to know how to hero, whatever it's called, and I want to be
Yeah.
able to get my brand more out there because I'm all about being um in the public at this point. And it's so funny. Before I started my podcast, I used to have this fear going live. 'Cause I used to watch my numbers and I'd be like, okay, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Like I don't have no viewers. So I have to just get off live. Nobody cares about what I have to say. So I started working on it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that's usually not it though. It just might not be a good time, but people go back and watch later. So even if people don't watch live, like still put on for the replay because the replay is gonna get more spins than the lives. You know what I mean? So
That is what I have learned. Like my episode, Brown Skin Girls, We Really Love Our Skin Tone, that episode is still doing numbers. And I'm like,
see,
y'all still watching it? And I every day I see it go higher and higher. And the girl who was on there, it was about her book, and she's so excited. I'm not sure if she got orders. I haven't even asked her that question, but I
yeah,
just
and continue to reshare it too. That's what we don't do a lot of repurposing content, and we don't do a lot of repurposing media. So if you get a hit on the media, or you in a magazine, or on a podcast or something, keep sharing it over and over and over again. You don't just share it one time and then let it go. Keep sharing it because not everybody who was following you the first time, they weren't around when you shared it, or someone might have forgot, or someone might have started watching it, didn't finish, and she shared it again. Let me go finish. So yep, share content over and over again and reshare like any kind of media coverage you get over and over again.
I
Trust me,
you know what
nobody
I
gets
don't reuse
tired of
my
it.
content. I don't reuse my content, so that's a good gem for me personally because I'm gonna start repurposing my content. That's a good
Oh,
idea.
you should. The main thing to start with, if you can do videos like this, you can take this video and make probably 60 pieces of content just from that alone. So video, that's why I want to get bigger into video on YouTube because the video is like the main piece of content. And then you could just chop it and screw it in 60 different ways and be putting that out there. You can do like audiograms, little audio clips. You could do short clips. You could put it like a little clip on IGTV. You could put it on Snapchat. You could put it on TikTok. You could put it on Twitter. Like you could break down something I said, break down something you said, do bullet points. Like take this one video and chop it and screw it in as many ways as possible. You'll have enough content for the rest of the month. Yeah. Look up Gary V's 64 pieces of content a day. Gary V.
Hold
Garyvee.
on, you said G
Ary
R Y
Vee.
VEE.
Gary V. The short for
Uh-huh.
Vaynerchuk. 64 pieces of content in a day. You'll probably see like an article pop up. That is like the bomb. If
I
you
see
are
it.
stuck and you can't decide like what to do in content, he literally tells you 64 different things that you can post and do in one day. And I haven't done all 64, but like I've done a lot. Well, I'm like, this is ingenious. I don't even have to think about this. Yes. Bookmark that.
Let me
Bookmark
check
that and refer to it
right
often.
and
One of my favorite tricks from that is going on Instagram and like screenshotting, where I posted something and then
mhm.
just posting that screenshot on the Twitter or vice versa, something that does well. Just screenshot it, crop it, it's an Instagram post. So yeah, Gary Vay 64 pieces of content. That'll help anybody, just take their content and break it down into so many different pieces. You'll be like, duh, why didn't I think of that?
Do you have 64? I can make 64 videos from this. Like, okay.
64 pieces of content, not necessarily all videos, but just different things. Yeah. You can make a blog post out of this. You can, go to rev.com, have them do the transcript and turn it into a whole blog post. Take small pieces out of it and make like little quotes and social media kind of things. You could just strip the audio out of this and make this a podcast episode. You could strip the audio out of all of your past YouTube videos and create a whole podcast, and they already have content.
Oh, I already did that. No, I did
Okay,
that.
good.
I'm on Apple, Spotify. I'm on Google. I'm on Castbox. I'm on Breaker. I'm
Yeah.
on Anchor. I'm on so many. On that part,
Yeah.
I did that already. I already scripted all the audio on
Perfect.
everything.
Yeah,
So
so start doing like audiograms. I love those when I do a blog interview, and then the guest, not a blog, a podcast, and then the guest gives me like an audiogram, like a clip, like a 20-30 second of me talking with like, like the little sound wave line goes up and it's promoting it.
you can
That's
do
a piece
that.
of content.
That's headliner.app.com.
Yeah, Headliner. It's called an audiogram, but yeah, you can make them on Headliner. I love those. You can do those, and I like those for people who don't like to necessarily be on camera and do video, but you want to do more than just post like a picture. Go to Headliner, do an audiogram, and take your phone and drop a little word dime and make a nice little picture with it and post it. It's right next to video. It's like Clubhouse, right? It's audio. And so we're getting into audio. I think that's why Clubhouse is so popular. Like people ain't trying to get dressed no more. Like it was fun and all to be like,
I
oh,
love
I got a
that. I've
Zoom.
been
I'm dressed from
listening
the top to the
so
bottom. But we're really over it now.
and not even that. Clubhouse is now a way to talk to somebody because everybody like texting. I hate texting. I like to talk on the phone and be like, "Hey, girl, how are you doing?" I may text in my little friendship group, but I prefer you to pick up the phone and we talk. That's just me. I'm old school. That's why I love Clubhouse. Like I said,
Yeah, it's kind of like
you
old school
have any
party
more
line.
gems to drop because you just dropped like a whole bunch of gems.
Well, I don't want to take up all the time in the universe, but if anyone wants to know more about me, or find some like free tools and resources, I'm on pretty much all social media at Taiisha Bradley. I'm on YouTube. I have some free videos up there. Every month I do a monthly masterclass. So far I've done January. We missed February because of the snowstorm. But we'll be back for March with the monthly master classes live on YouTube. I'm also on TikTok, Taiisha Bradley, where I share like little quick media type tips and information about publicity in a fun kind of way. So definitely follow me. Subscribe to my email list. I send out monthly emails with ideas of what to pitch for each month. So I'm constantly sharing, what I'm doing and tips and things. So if people connect with me, they can find more information there. And people can always email me from my website. I answer my own emails and I'm super responsive because my phone is always right here.
Well, I love this particular segment for my show today
Yay.
because I learned so much, and I learned how to take my brand to the next level. That was one of my questions, but I never asked it because I was listening on how to take my brand to the next level, and I'm happy that my viewers stuck this out with us. They learned with us, and I really hope that this episode
Thank
was
y'all for
good for
hanging in there.
you. And I want to officially say thank you for letting me interview you, and thank you for being on my podcast. Like it has been great. I don't know about everybody else out there, but I got some gems that I can't wait to
Yeah.
use.
Thank you
So
for having me and letting me
you're
share. I'm
so
passionate about what
welcome.
I talk about and it's fun. So I love being a podcast guest. It's my fave.
I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to build more podcasts. Not on this one, but on other ones. That's not me, and I'm trying this. I cannot wait to talk to you outside of this live. But you guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you didn't, I'm sorry. Just DM me some topics that you want me to talk about, and we can go from there. But other than that, I'm your girl, Crystal J. Today we had a great celebrity publicist, and I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. Next week I have a funny commercial for you guys, and don't forget I just got picked up by iWorks Network.
Woo!
I want to say it again. I just got picked up by iWorks TV Network. It was a black-owned company. I cannot wait to start producing more content for them. So please check them out. You can download them on Apple, or Roku, Amazon, Google. Just download the app, you guys, and you will see me more soon on that app. I'm trying to move off Facebook. I'm gonna stay on YouTube, but not Facebook. So once again, it's I Work TV Network. So it's a black owned. I'm super excited. And if you have any questions for my guest, please contact her and go to her website. I've been dropping it below the whole time. TaishaBradley.com. If you like her, please go check her out. Please go check out her $10 offer she got for you guys. $10 is nothing but American Deli Meal. So who can't afford that? If you can't, get your funds together. I said it. I hate people like I can't afford it. Why can you not afford it? What are you doing with your money, sis? But that's a whole nother
Right. Be
conversation.
like, that's why you need this.
That part. And I say that part a lot because I got it from my friend up north, you guys. I'm so sorry. My friend up always say that part and she rubbed off on me. But anyway, you guys, thank you guys for watching the Bedroom Talk Show. And I'm your girl, Crystal J. See you next Monday at 7 p.m. Bye.
Bye.